to serve as Hudson Valley Shakespeare's managing director. Welcome to Garrison, and thank you for being present with us today to help us break ground and begin construction on our first ever permanent home. There will be a very slight change to the program order printed in your program, so please stay seated with us and roll forward as we do what theaters do best, improvise. Hudson Valley Shakespeare operates on the ancestral homelands of the Lenape, Munsee, and Wappinger people. We gratefully honor their stewardship of this land in the past and in the present. We offer this land acknowledgement as a formal statement to recognize and respect the indigenous peoples who are the traditional stewards of the land on which we operate and their enduring relationship with this place. My partner in managing this great organization, Davis McCallum, and I often talk about what it means to become a place-based organization after many years as a seasonal festival. We're well aware that not every theater company has the privilege of place, and that very few are as lucky as we to call a beautiful, natural setting like this one home. We are profoundly grateful to all of our Rooted campaign supporters, many of whom are here today, who share our belief in the power of the arts to connect communities, drive economic growth, and improve our quality of life. I also want to give a special thanks to the incredible staff of Hudson Valley Shakespeare who have been working tirelessly toward this day for so long. In a moment, I will introduce our keynote speaker, the Honorable Kathy Hochul, 57th Governor of our great state of New York. Governor Hochul's administration understands that the arts are economic development and continues to make funding available for organizations and projects that offer tremendous benefits to our communities. We are profoundly grateful to be one of only 2 recipients of the of NYSCA's largest ever capital grant of $10 million. With significant additional funding and support from Empire State Development and the Mid-Hudson Regional Economic Development Council, we are honored to be trusted with these investments from the state, and we look forward to welcoming the community, the region, and the world to our new home. Governor Hochul, we are so thankful for your continued support of arts and culture in New York State. We look forward to welcoming you back in the future, where there will always be a seat for you under our new roof. Please welcome Governor Kathy Hochul.
Wow. They say all the world's a stage, even this most wonderful vista here on the Hudson River. It is such a joy to be here, breaking ground on this brand new theater. And I just want to thank everyone who is involved in this. And Kendra, your energy is contagious. You're so excited about this. And what you and Davis have done is extraordinary here. And all the patrons, those who are from this community and beyond, who truly believe in the connection of art and nature, as Shakespeare did centuries ago. And when he said, one touch of nature makes the whole world kin, we're all connected with that. So this could have been in a beautiful downtown area. We have the most gorgeous buildings in Cold Spring and Garrison. I've been to many of your charming downtowns, but this is what sets us apart. And I come over this way often, sometimes in a helicopter, sometimes in a car. And if I see it every day, it's jaw-droppingly beautiful. And to the visionaries who said this can be the place that we connect arts and culture with nature, I applaud you, because you are the people who make this state so exceptional, and those who came before who treasure this land. And that's why it's not built with condos and buildings and high rises and factories, because people understood that there's nothing like this in the world. And you're also the stewards of this great place as well. So we are going to continue working to invest in projects like these. And tell you this, I've been attracted to the arts since I was a little girl. We didn't grow up with much. My parents used to live in a trailer park a long time ago, but they knew that if we piled 8 of us into a clunky old station wagon, on Sundays we could drive down the road in Buffalo about an hour to a place called Chautauqua Institution. You know Chautauqua Institution? That is a magical place that I still visit to reconnect with the arts and a sense of place. And so when I see an opportunity like this, when I was a fairly brand new governor, I think it was maybe summer of 2021, and I came out here and had a chance to ride around in a golf cart with Davis and others and see the vision that was unfolding. I thought, I've got to help make this happen. I really believe in what you're doing. And again, money is everything. I'm a former local official, and I appreciate our electeds who are here today, starting with Dana Liebenberg, our New York State Assembly member. Let's give her a round of applause. Dana, thank you. You have a great partner and an advocate, a champion in our state legislature. And of course, the Village of Cold Spring Mayor Kathleen Foley. Kathleen, thank you. I like the name. I'm a Kathleen, and also, as I mentioned, Davis McCollum, our artistic director, is here, and I don't know if there's any other. Our supervisor, Phillip Town Supervisor, I was on a town board too. Let's acknowledge John Van Tassel as well, and Ned Sullivan, who's always the one with Scenic Hudson, who's pushing me to do more, as is my friend Chris on the Fjord Trail and others. So, of course, as soon as I walk away from here, they're going to say, "How about this?" I know how you operate. Thank you, but your hands are always out. But I've never pushed your hands away, right? Okay, so I'd rather shake than push your hands away. So, but that's what I'm talking about, the champions we have here who so believe in what you do. And again, that spark I had as a child, I want to make sure that every child can grow up with that same experience, that's the sense of something other than the hectic day-to-day lives we live in. It's a mental respite that we all need, especially when the world seems so turned upside down, and you need a place to just come and breathe the air and take in the trees and watch the turning foliage and just embrace what we have here. And I hope so many more people will take advantage of this once this magnificent theater is built. There's going to be nothing like it. I'm going to tell the whole world that, and because it comes from a governor, they'll have to believe it. This is the most exceptional place for performance of theater on earth. Even the Globe Theater, they're going to want to come here instead. I'm convinced of that. So our Council on the Arts understands this as well, and that's why today I'm proud to announce that on top of this, we're going to be announcing another $80 million that we're distributing through our Capital Projects Fund. So that's going to be seen all over the state of New York. Building on, we're just getting warmed up. This paves the way on the $32 million of awards we already granted this year. And again, I see the connection with tourism. We broke tourism records last year. Nobody thought we'd be able to do that as we're still emerging from the pandemic, and a lot of people are actually traveling abroad because they didn't travel during the pandemic. And every time I call somebody, I'm over in Europe, well, why aren't you here? So I'm having all these conversations. But you know what? A lot of people did come here. And I'm going to tell you the numbers. It's a record 306 million tourists who thankfully spent $88 billion statewide, including $5 billion right here in the Hudson Valley. So we keep giving attractions that draw people here. They will keep coming. And best of all, they'll keep spending. This place is amazing. So we're going to keep doubling down on arts and culture. Double down. No matter how things get and how tough the economic winds are, I know where the investments need to be made because there's a ripple effect. A dollar spent here means multiples that help the local economy. The charming downtowns, and they're the cutest downtowns we have in all of New York, are right along this river. I just came over from a staff retreat at Bear Mountain. Spectacular place. They had to pull me away, and if they told me I was going anywhere else but here, I would have stayed, but that's why I'm here. But my team is hunkered down talking about our next state of the state. And that's so important to me that they have their creative juices flowing in an environment like this. So when you hear the best day of the state ever, you're going to know a lot of the ideas came from right across the river here. So we gave as I'm doubling down, we gave our Council on the Arts an extra $100 million to expand their program. I said, let's go big or go home. It's my philosophy in life. And I wanted to make sure that you have the resource to do what you have to do. And when I became governor, the maximum grant was $2 million. So look at that multiple. 5 times higher. The maximum grant is $10 million. And it's actually what I'm doing right here is, again, as I saw this place and heard the vision, I want you to know you had me at hello. You really did. You didn't have to work so hard. I was like, sure, that sounds great. No, there's a whole process. I have to assure you it's not just what I want to do. But this is one of the first organizations, Hudson Valley Shakespeare, one of the very first ever receive a grant of this size, the $10 million. And I know it's going to be well spent, and it's going to pay dividends that we can't even imagine. But that's in addition to the $3.2 million of Empire State Development and our EPA fund. And again, the Mohawk Valley, Mid-Hudson REDC. Ned's been a member a long time, and some of our members are here today. They're the ones who evaluate the great ideas. They're so brilliant, it's hard to say no to anybody. We're going to keep that program going as well as our Downtown Revitalization Initiative, which is driving grants of $10 million into localities to help them have welcoming streetscapes and the signage, and investing in downtown, making the communities more walkable, connecting downtowns to waterways. And so I love that program. We have probably 70 communities that have been beneficiaries of this as well. When I was a local official, supervisor, if someone had said you have $10 million to reimagine your downtown, I would have fallen over. It didn't happen when I was elected officials. 30 years ago this year, I've been elected official for that long a time. So I've seen it all. And I know we're investments from the state can really transform communities in ways that they're not able to do on their own. It's just they're not big enough. They don't have the resources. So we fill that gap and make extraordinary communities that'll support investments like this. So the whole system is complete. As I mentioned, I toured this site a couple years ago, and I saw the possibilities, and I want to make sure that there are more. I just want your example here to inspire others all over the state of New York to see what can happen when you have the capacity and the will of a community that believes in itself, that sees opportunities where others would have gone past land like this for decades, as they have, and didn't see what could possibly happen here. With the ideas that come forward, the brilliant team that designed this, I love the design, the fact that the audience will be able to sit here and look out and embrace this. That is going to soothe the soul in ways that we cannot even imagine right now. And I'm telling you, it's going to be real and profound. So I'm excited about this, and I can't wait to see all the excitement and the performances here and the talent that's going to congregate here. The people are going to say, I want to live here as well. We're going to keep growing and just building on the excitement that all of you know as people who love this community as much as I do. So thank you for the opportunity to be here today, and best wishes with this. I'm hearing 2026, okay? Keep it to 2026, and maybe we can shave off a couple months too. I'm a task driver. Maybe the end of 2025, you never know. Thank you, everybody. Congratulations.
Blow, blow, thou winter wind, thou art not so unkind as man's ingratitude. Thy tooth is not so keen because thou art not seen. Although thy breath be rude, high, hey ho, sing hey ho, unto friendship is feigning, most loving mere folly. Then hey ho, this life is most jolly. This life is most jolly. Free bite so nigh, as benefits forgot. Though thou the waters warp, thy sting is not so sharp, as friends remembered not. Hey ho, sing hey ho, unto the green holly. Most friendship is feigning, most loving mere folly. Then hey ho, this life is most jolly. This life is most jolly. Hey ho, sing hey ho, sing hey ho, unto the green holly. Most friendship is feigning, most loving mere folly. Then hey ho, this life is most jolly. This life is most jolly.
Moment that Hudson Valley Shakespeare has waited many months for, the ceremonial groundbreaking. After the ceremonial groundbreaking and the photo, please retake your seats for the remainder of our program. Thank you. Thank you. Please find your seats. It is my great pleasure to welcome to the stage our, as Davis and I often describe her, indefatigable board president, Robin Shelby Arditi.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that wonderful performance. Thank you, Governor Hochul, for your very inspiring remarks and sharing with us your love of the arts as it is reconciled with nature, as we are doing here today. I am the board president, and on behalf of the board, I want to thank you all for coming and celebrating this truly magical moment in the life of our theater company. And I want to thank Governor Hochul again for her inspiring words and for your remarkable service to our community, the greater Hudson Valley region, theater arts, and New York State. I don't know how you do it. We are so honored that you've made the time today during what has to be a very hectic election season, and are deeply grateful for your continued support. We are also very grateful to the other public servants here with us today, including Assemblywoman Dana Levenberg. Dana has let us know that she will be nominating HVS for a $100,000 capital grant through the CREST program to support the accessibility of our new theater. Thank you, Dana. And once again, we so value your support. And I also want to acknowledge and thank our local representatives here today, Nancy Montgomery, yay, Nancy, Phillipstown Supervisor John Van Tassel, and Mayor of Cold Spring, Kathleen Foley. There are so many people to thank for helping us reach this extraordinary moment and this milestone, including some exceedingly generous donors to our capital campaign, many of whom are here today. We are very, very blessed by your generosity. And I also have been privileged to work with an exceptional board of directors, which has not only been very generous with their time and treasure, but also a wise and steady hand in guiding our organization over the past 5 years as it planned for and undertook this enormous project. Last, but far from least, we are profoundly grateful to the remarkable man who made this all possible, Chris Davis. I will never forget the autumn day in 2019, I think it might have been December, when Chris approached us and offered this incredible 98-acre property to be Hudson Valley Shakespeare's first permanent home, something we had long dreamed of. This gesture is an amazing example of philanthropy and also reflects Chris's deep commitment to environmental restoration and sustainability, and his vision for making this truly breathtaking vista of the Hudson River beautiful on a cloudy day even, available to our audience members and the greater community, and as Kendra said, the world. Chris, we are forever in your debt. And now, with deepest thanks, I'd like to yield the floor to you, our benefactor and visionary. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Davis.
Oh. Well, I'll be very brief. I was so moved by that performance, just the sense of something rising from this landscape and what it means to be at that stage in this project's history. And 20 years ago, I stood almost on this exact spot, and I felt afraid. And I felt fear of what would happen to this land as the Japanese were putting it out to bid. And, of course, there was two twin challenges. There was this idea that this land was not just useful for its conservation value, but it was also a profound part of the local community. People's lives had taken place here. They'd been married and celebrated landmarks. It was also a vibrant employer, and maybe the most important employer in Garrison, certainly, and one of the most important in the town. And that business was reliant on visitation, on drawing people here. So it wasn't just a local asset. It was reliant on drawing visitors. And as I sort of contemplated what we could do here and stepped in, I found myself 15 years later standing in the same spot and afraid again. We were just coming out of COVID. And we had accomplished those goals in the short term, but not in the long term. There hadn't been a permanent solution. How would we protect the landscape, maintain local access, preserve the largest employer that's reliant on visitation? And here we were in COVID in a time that was characterized by fear. And Fred, Rich, and Davis McCallum just came like spirits. It was an incredible moment. Think about Hudson Valley Shakespeare. Providing access and drawing visitors is their promise. Decency and integrity are their character. Creativity, inspiration, education, entertainment are their soul. And beauty is their promise. And so here we sat 5 years ago thinking we were done, and having no idea that 5 years later we'd finally have a shovel in the ground. Well, we faced two obstacles. And the first was fear, right? That same fear. And the fear came in all directions, in the sense that there was this suspicion of conservationists. Oh, well, what is this development? There was the fear of growth. And at the base of it, there was simple fear of change. That's a very human characteristic. And of course, we live in a time when people exploit fear for their own purposes. And we were lucky to have people like Nancy and John Van Tassel stand firm and not be drawn to exploit fear, but instead to buy into a vision and buy into hope. And the second one we faced, of course, was cost. And the upfront investment to do something like this right. You only get one chance. And here the governor has been an incredible partner and has resisted polarization. She's chosen connection. I loved her in her remarks. She talked about connection. Instead of division, she looks for these and solutions. How do we have visitation and preservation? How do we have growth and conservation? How do we have something that's valued locally but is a global attraction? How do we have jobs and beauty? And how do we leverage the public and the private investors? And all of that came together. And here we are, drawing people from all over and at the same time conserving something that's deeply and profoundly local and of its place. And really all of this sits at the feet of Davis. When Robin was speaking, I thought she was going to say the other Davis. And I think what's been so hard about this last 5 years is Davis is an artist at heart. And here he has been fighting this heavy lift, dealing with visitation plans, endless consultants, permitting, politics, fundraising. But now, Davis, now you get to craft, create, and manifest your vision. And we're all deeply grateful for it. So, Davis.
Thank you for that, Chris, and for everything. Hi, everybody. My name's Davis McCallum. I'm the artistic director here. As the governor mentioned, I stood in this exact spot almost in June of 2021 on a sweltering morning in the depths of the pandemic, when the entire performing arts world had been on lockdown for almost 18 months. and then Lieutenant Governor Hochul. And I wasn't a glorious gathering like today with lots of people. It was like 4 people huddled around a spiral binder with some early schematic designs of this theater. And the governor got it immediately. She understood the transformational power of art and the importance to communities like ours in the Hudson Valley. And I'm so grateful that she was here today as part of the groundbreaking. Today does mark a watershed moment in our evolution from a seasonal festival to a place-based cultural anchor for the Hudson Valley. It allows us to do in vastly more impactful ways what arts organizations do best, which is connect people to each other and bring them together. And the chance to do that on an extraordinary site like this is, as Shakespeare would say, a consummation devoutly to be wished. Behind me is one of the most iconic views of the spectacular Hudson River Valley. And now, as Fred said, that experience is not just the privilege of the few, but available to a much larger and more inclusive group of New Yorkers. And when this open-air theater opens, we'll be able to welcome busloads of students from communities all over the Hudson Valley. And we all know the power of the arts, as the governor mentioned, to open young minds and change people's lives. And that power is, I think, multiplied when students are brought to a place like this, and in ways explicit and implicit are told that this place is for you, that truly it belongs to you. And the view behind me isn't just beautiful, it also tells a meaningful story about the history of environmentalism in the Hudson Valley. Storm King Mountain is regarded by many as the birthplace of the American environmental movement, and is central to the kind of foundational story of Scenic Hudson, an organization that's done more than anyone to protect and preserve the landscape of the Hudson Valley. And we're honored to have Ned Sullivan, who's the executive director of Scenic Hudson, here today. Welcome, Ned. Thank you. So this place has has ensured and driven our commitment to sustainability in this project. Because like Scenic Hudson, we're stepping into the role of being a land steward of this incredible place. And the ecological restoration of the site has been foundational to our planning and design. And I want to give a special shout out to Thomas Woltz from Nelson Bird Woltz, who's our landscape architect, and they've done just a brilliant job after their entire body of work is about ecological restoration and opening these spaces up to more people. So thank you for your brilliant work, Thomas. Our new home will feature native meadows and walking paths and picnic lawns and open green space to offer our community. And we're charting a path towards campus-wide carbon neutrality by 2040. And I'm very pleased to announce that the theater we're building will be the first purpose-built LEED Platinum theater in the United States, the very highest level of environmental certification. And one more thing about place is that, you know, if you look at the view behind me, it reminds the person of the Hudson River School of Painting. And that, in turn, is a kind of reminder that the Hudson River and its valley has been an inspiration to artists for centuries. The other thing that we wanted to capture with Chris Davis's incredible gift is making sure that this place is a home for artists. And the artists that you saw singing and bringing those amazing lanterns over the hillside are the heartbeat of our theater company. And part of the capital campaign that we're announcing today is funding a cluster of artist lodging on this campus so that they can live where they also work during the term of their employment at HVSF and continue, as artists have for so long, to draw inspiration from this incredible landscape. And then last, the place has really guided our selection of the design team. The Hudson River Valley has attracted the greatest architectural design talent in every generation, going back centuries. And when Chris gave us this piece of property, we started a search for an architect deeply in touch with the natural world, and one inspired by the forms in nature, and who shared our value of putting the land first. And it was one of the first decisions we made, and it was one of the best decisions we made, and we found that person in Jeannie Gang. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the visionary architect who has met the responsibility of working on this site with such incredible inspiration and sensitivity and grace. Please welcome Jeannie Gang.